Hello, good evening, and a very warm welcome indeed to World Cup Scotsport. In less than 15 minutes from now, Scotland meet Iceland in the National Stadium in Reykjavík in their second last qualifying match in Group 7. Defeat tonight would almost certainly end Scotland's hopes of taking part in football's biggest fiesta, the 1986 World Cup in Mexico. Joining me in the studio here tonight is our old friend Dennis Law. Dennis, welcome back to Glasgow, and a quick look at the Scottish team for those who've just come in and perhaps have switched on. What do you make of this lineup?
Well, of course, Jock Stein has brought back the experienced Andy Gray, and of course with Graham Sharp playing in the same team, Everton, with them, and they both, between the two of them, they scored 45 goals, 15 for Andy Gray and 30 for Sharp. So I think that's a good move by Jock. I think the rest of the team speaks for itself. They played very well against England on Saturday, and right enough, I wouldn't change the back four or the midfield. And it's got to be a very important midfield.
Right, excellent. Well, Dennis, I suspect you must have been delighted with Scotland's excellent start to the World Cup campaign last October. A match to remember.
25 minutes into the first half, still no scoring. So far, trying to take on Guðmundsson. A great toss. The header, the ball is in the net, and it's Paul McLeish. The youngest Scotsman on the field gets his first goal for Scotland. McLeish with a layoff to Paul McLeish. And a great goal from McLeish. Sheer genius from the Celtic midfield player. And Scotland go 2 in front. Bett leaves it for Johnston. Sveinsson is back. There is Willie Miller, and there's the header! And it's Charlie Nicholas! 28 and a half minutes into the second half, and Nicholas makes it 3.
Just the start that we wanted. Well, perhaps Scotland's best performance for some time came in the Hampden match against Spain, the night when every Scottish player played superbly, and which made the prospects of qualifying for Mexico seem very, very real indeed.
Corner kick will be taken now by Dalglish. Leash making a run towards the near post. The header is on. The header there. Oh, and a tremendous effort. The ball is in the net. Mo Johnston has made it. His header. Good running by Bett. Pass came from Willie Miller. There's Johnston! 2-0 to Scotland! 3 minutes from half-time. Leighton staying in the line. Double for Scotland. The header, and it's Grétarsson who has made it 2-1 with that surprise header. To pull the way off, there's Kenny Dalglish making the angle for the shot. Dalglish takes it 3-1 and equals the Scottish scoring record.
Vintage Kenny Dalglish, but alas, he's not available for Scotland tonight. Well, after that splendid performance against Spain, which gave Scotland a 100% record after just 2 matches, Jock Stein knew that it would be difficult in Seville. But of course Spain are just not in the habit of losing matches. The choice of the venue was deliberate, the crowd were partisan, but for the first half Scotland contained them nicely. Then in the second half, an opportunity for Klaus to beat his marker and head a fine goal, and it proved to be the only goal of the game, 1-0 to Spain. Well, a match which really put Scotland under pressure in Group 7 was the home game against Wales on March 27th, when the twin Welsh strikers Ian Rush and Mark Hughes gave the Scottish defence a tough time of it. One would have to say that the goal which won this game was nothing less than superb. Ian Rush has made a great reputation for himself as a goal taker, and just look at this shot coming up now, giving Jim Leighton absolutely no chance. Dennis, do you think we're going to miss Kenny Dalglish tonight in this match?
Yes, of course. I mean, Kenny, as he said, equalled the Scottish goal-scoring record, and with his experience in the side missing, yes, we saw the performance against Wales, and yes, Kenny Dalglish will be a sadly missed factor. But of course, the Scottish team will always stick for the game against Wales. They know what they've got to do tonight. It's very, very important, you know, that Scotland qualify for World Cup. So I don't see any slip-ups tonight.
Let's look at the league table, Dennis, because it's very nicely balanced. I said that earlier that 3 points could probably get us into a playoff situation. There are a lot of permutations still to come, but really, so far as tonight's concerned, it has to be all about winning and winning well, hasn't it?
Well, of course, you say 3 points. It really isn't. You know, they've got to get 4. They've got to go into the game knowing that they need 4. They go to Iceland. They must win tonight and must win convincingly, because the game against Wales in September is going to be very, very difficult indeed. So tonight is important to score a few goals and win, and also, of course, go down to Wales and beat Wales.
That's a nice prospect. Well, we'll be going over to Reykjavík shortly, but right now we're going to take a break. Rejoin us here live for World Cup Scott Sport in just a couple of minutes from now. Again, and welcome back to Scott Sport World Cup Special. There are the pictures from Reykjavík coming over the satellite high above the North Sea, giving us our first look at the National Stadium. And as you can see in the top right-hand corner of the picture, the yellow lion rampants are there, as always. Also there is Ian St John, who will be sharing the commentary tonight with our match commentator, Jock Brown. And just after the Scottish team bus had arrived at the stadium, he had a quick word with team manager Jock Stein.
Changes in the side for this evening's game?
Yeah, well, we've brought the obvious in, the success of the Everton pair, Graham Sharp and Andy Gray.
Why was that?
Well, simply we played well enough on Saturday, but we didn't feel we created enough goal-scoring chances. These two have been playing well together all year, and Graham Sharp's had a tremendous year, and obviously should be maybe possibly played before this, but they haven't had the opportunity, so we're putting them in at the deep end.
Are you looking for a win tonight?
Well, it's the only thing that's good enough for us. If we win here, we go to Wales with the thought that Wales need to beat us there. It's a clear difference with going looking for a draw and looking for a win. But a win here would be ideal for us.
Are you surprised at the conditions?
We are. I think that surprised us greatly. We thought that there'd be a heavy wind blowing and the park wouldn't be too good, but we've no excuses at all. The field's a wee bit tight, but playing surface is good. Overhead it's quite good. We've no excuses really.
Thanks very much, John. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yes, and good luck from all of us. Dennis, a simple question for you. What kind of game is it going to be tonight?
It's going to be a very hard game. Of course, Iceland already beat Wales, so they've got 2 points. So they might be looking to beat Scotland and go 4 points. You know, you could always maybe qualify. I think Jock Stein and the Scotland team know that. They'll go out tonight. They'll go out and play. You heard Jock say what a marvellous the pitch is, because they just started the season. It's ideal conditions. It's ideal conditions for the good players. Thank God it's not sort of heavy. I think Scotland will go out, push it around. It's always very difficult the first 10 minutes of a game, you know. They could survive them, you know. Then they'll go, and I think Scotland will.
Well, as you can see, Dennis, there's a good crowd inside the stadium. They're talking of almost 20,000, which represents, I think, something like 1 in 12 of the population, which is really amazing. And the stage looks set for a great game. One question I wonder, which seems valid to put to you, I wonder if we're asking a lot as this fellow comes down for it's the match ball, I think, being delivered. What a plug for the match ball. But what are Graham Sharp and Andy Gray going to do with this ball, Dennis? Because there's a wee bit of pressure on them, inevitably, isn't there? Coming in like this, a lot is expected of them. They've got to get goals.
They have, and both of them know that. Andy Gray obviously delighted to get back into the Scottish side, and Graham Sharp being his first game. Now, they've had a successful combination, as you heard Jock say. They'll be looking forward to it. They know that Scotland are relying on those two, and I don't think they'll let Scotland down.
Right. I don't know whether Jock Brown can hear us or not in Reykjavik. We don't have him yet at the moment. The Russian referee, Anatoly Milchenko, we've seen him in the odd game on the box, Dennis, and we know that he's firm but fair. And that, I think, is probably quite a good thing from Scotland's point of view.
Well, you can't ask for anything else, you know. When you play abroad, you know, you normally play the team plus the referee plus the 2 linesmen. The Russian, I don't think he will. And as you say, they couldn't ask for any more. You know that the difference between the Scandinavian countries, you know, and Iceland, if you take that into it,
sure.
You know, they've really improved over this last 10 years. I think the standard of British soccer is lowering a wee bit, but they're coming up. They've got a few players playing in West Germany, which will give them the, you know, the experience, you know, and that gap. I mean, they beat the under-21 side last night.
Sure.
You know, that would never have been done quite a few years ago.
You see, in the space of 5 months in 1963, you once scored 7 goals against Norway, which at that time reflected the gulf between Scandinavia and Great Britain. But there's not many guys could do that nowadays, with the greatest respect to yourself.
Well, of course, as you say, the teams are getting better. And we never used to worry about Norway. And certainly, if you go back 20 years ago, we never worried about Iceland. But the gap is narrowing. It's a very, very important game for Scotland. The players know it. They've got to go out there, play football, and get goals. Because I think at the end of the night, or the end of the tournament in September, it may be that goals, the difference in goals would be the qualifying point. Not points, could be goals, Arthur. So have a look at, you know, Scotland will score many goals.
Graham Souness, another chance for him to establish his reputation as one of the great playmakers in Europe here.
Well,
tonight.
I must say, Arthur, you know, when Scotland played Spain way back in November, I thought it was one of the best performances by a Scottish team that I'd seen for a very, very long time. The Wales game was disappointing, but on Saturday I thought Souness against England was outstanding, as was Jim Bett. Aitken acted that little bit harder. But Souness, he was the one. He's the one that sort of controlled the game, and that's why, in my opinion anyway, that's why Scotland won.
Well, there seems to be a fault in the communication satellite. We're getting nice pictures, obviously, at the moment. Scotland wearing the change strip tonight. For those of you watching in black and white, it's a kind of lemon shirt, again, with that very distinctive blue stripe across. So at least we can see the game and see what's happening. And there's the two guys, Dennis, who will have a fair bit of burden on their shoulder. Just for those of you who have just come in and recap, the Scottish side, Leighton in goal, the back four of Gough, Miller, McLeish and Malpas, midfield of Strachan, Souness, Aitken and Bett. There we are, there's the line-up, and those two Everton strikers, Sharp and Gray, who've dominated the English First Division, up in front for Scotland. The pitch, as Jockstein said, looks in excellent condition. The Russian referee, Mr. Anatoly Milchenko. The Icelandic side showing 5 changes from the team that lost 3-0 at Hampden Park. Guðmundsson, the goalkeeper, who many felt was perhaps at fault in that first game, has been relegated to the subs bench tonight. Watch for Johannes Edvaldsson's brother, he's in the side as well. The match is underway. Scotland playing in the lemon shirts. Richard Gough, the hero of the match at Hampden on Saturday, taking that early throw. Scotland, just to remind you, in their change strip and attacking the goal on the left, and perhaps an early touch there for Jim Leighton. He came out in anticipation of it, but the ball turned out of play there by Jónsson, so that's an early throw to Scotland, and a quick touch of the ball for Jim Leighton, who's wearing his change strip tonight of all grey. So the referee doesn't seem to be too happy with that position of the ball. I wonder if he's going to be a bit fussy. We'll just have to wait and see. Richard Gough, coming to the end of a great season for him. Scored the only goal, of course, for Scotland against England at Hampden last Saturday. And right away it's Andy Gray back in his own half of the field, trying to get something going. Souness sweeping the ball away to the far side, but a good enough reception here by Sveinsson. Sveinsson making a move on the far side. Up ahead he's got Saevar Jónsson, with Bergs moving across. Looks like the linesman there indicating a free kick to Iceland after just a minute and a half of play. So a time for the Scottish back four to marshal themselves, for McLeish and Miller to indicate their authority early on in the game. A couple of Scots going over onto the far side, but certainly not 10 yards. The referee playing the advantage, letting it go, the ball swirling in there. Siggi Jónsson trying to get at the end of it without success. And Scotland trying to break on the far side of the field. Good running there by Sharp off the ball. Onside 2. Chipped away there by Sveinsson. Up to the halfway line, back infield. Referee indicating an infringement. Just to remind you that these pictures are coming from Icelandic television, and that we are getting pictures but not in fact getting commentary at the moment. Scotland making a move on the left. Bett again coming in. Guðmundsson in goal. Good crowd inside the stadium for this one. But a perfect playing surface. The prospects of a good match. Oh, a nice early 1-2 there, and a quick shot on the turn. That was beautifully hit there and well saved by Leighton. That was Thorbjornsson coming through and having a thump at that one from outside the box. Leighton had a good view of it. So a fairly calm start, Dennis. The referee, as we thought, pretty firm and pretty decisive, but quite a calm start for Scotland so far.
Oh, of course, you don't ask for anything other than the referee gives you a sort of fair deal, particularly when you play away from home. Yes, Leighton has done well in the Scottish goal this past couple of years, and we've always seemed to have problems with goalkeepers, but he's done all right. They know it's going to be very difficult. You know, the first 10 minutes of the game is in most games away from home, where the sort of home team trying to get that early goal. And Scotland have coped well with it, and they're knocking the ball about. But it will be hard the first 10 minutes. Pitch looks well anyway.
Yes, the referee seems to be giving most things at the moment, which is no bad thing. He's just having a word there with Petursson and with Edvaldsson there. And it's a free kick to Scotland. Scotland attacking the goal on the right in the change strip, for those of you who've just come in perhaps. No scoring at this stage in the match, almost 5 minutes gone. As you can gather, we seem to have lost Jock Brown at the moment. Now Iceland trying to get away on the right. Again, support coming from the midfield. Flag up for offside. Gough quickly, our first glimpse of Gordon Strachan from him. Lots expected tonight. A very good season. FA Cup winners' medal, of course. Strachan moving it away to the far side. Nice 1-2. Strachan working his way forward. Space on the right if he can find it. Strachan looking for the 1-2, trying to get it to his left foot there, but well hooked away there by Saevar Johnson. 50-50 ball. Referee says it wasn't a 50-50 ball. A free kick to Iceland just inside their own half of the field. An excellent crowd inside the National Stadium in Reykjavík, a ground that has already seen the big upset of this section, when of course Iceland defeated Wales by 1-0, and how well Wales have done to get back in. A nice cut back across there from Petursson, but nobody there for it, Dennis. Potentially dangerous situation.
No, right, I mean that has always been the problem of particularly Scandinavian countries, you know. Somebody to put the ball in the back of the net. They could learn tactically the technique of playing, but there's a lot of people, a lot of international teams through the world, they struggle to score goals, but that is their main problem. They can get up to the penalty area, they can get inside it and be very skillful indeed, but actually when it comes to putting the ball in the back of the net, they're still quite a far way behind.
Well, there he had Aitken on the outside, but he's stopped going through the centre. Looking for a free kick, not getting it. Picked up here by Sveinsson, who brings it clear. Solid tackle going in there from Aitken, and wins it back for Scotland. Scotland beginning to come forward again. Richard Gough again moving forward to support his midfield and forward. Ball swung across the far side by Souness, the Scottish captain. Space on the far side of the field. Look how quickly the Scottish midfield are coming up to help their attackers. Again, space on the far side. Gray moving into the box. Referee indicating a free kick. Followed by Malpas there on the number 2. Sveinsson, free kick to Iceland. Icelandic crowd giving the team a lot of support, and this could be dangerous. Chance here for Johnson, good well to make the space. Good break, Dennis, yes. Good move.
Good break, good move. I mean, I'm saying that they're not good at scoring, you know, but they aren't. You can see, I mean, he does well here. I mean, it's very difficult playing against the calibre of players that Scotland's got there. And he gets, you see what I mean, you know, it was not just hit, you know, proper. You know, in another country that a player getting through to that position, he might have scored. And that is the problem, you know, that's going to be the problem.
Gough forward, I didn't quite see that infringement. It certainly wasn't offside. May have been a nudge perhaps by Graham Sharp. Or it may have been a nudge on Graham Sharp. Couldn't quite see an infringement there, but the referee has no doubt about it. Free kick to Scotland. Souness there with Gough and Strachan perhaps trying to work on a pre-match move, the kind of thing that players have worked out in training. Souness knocking it in deep Oh, almost a chance on the far side, driven in, but the whistle had gone, I think, for an infringement, possibly a foul by Andy Gray, who seemed to have taken 2 players out of the game there and not just one. I think we can expect a wholehearted performance for Andy Gray. What a season he's had, Dennis.
I think that's an area, Arthur, again, getting back to the sort of Scandinavians, Iceland. You know, they're not particularly good in the air on, say, defensive, you know, so, you know, Scotland can knock the ball into the penalty area for Andy Gray. I think, you know, that really is an area they're not good at either. In between, you know, setting up the men to get forward, they do it all well, but there's 2 areas where they lack. That is defending, you know, high balls and scoring. What they want to do, Arthur, of course, is to get the crowd there quiet. Then, you know, you begin to take over. And they, you know, Scotland knock it about and slow it down. Don't go mad. Just knock it about to each other. You know, the crowd will go quiet, and then you know you've got them. Then you've got to go forward and try and get the first goal.
Almost 10 minutes played in Reykjavík. Iceland 0, Scotland 0 in this all-important Group 7 World Cup qualifying match. If you've just come in, we have a problem with a commentary line from Reykjavík. But the pictures are there, and here's a chance for Scotland. A good dummy by Sharp, picked up by Souness at the edge of the box, drives it wide. Good positional play there by Roy Aitken. He's got a bit of support. Similar situation to his fine play in the cup final. Going in, that could be a corner. Ball spinning off Saevar Jónsson. So a corner to Scotland, the first corner of the match. And how they would like an early goal, as Dennis Law has just said. What a difference it would make to the Scots. It would settle them down, calm things down. A little bit of a smear coming on now, but the pitch in excellent condition, not much wind, as Gordon Strachan knocks that to the near post. Cut back from Gray, keeper's there, ball almost in the net, but in fact an infringement had gone. Perhaps the replay, Dennis, will show us what happened.
Yes. Well, apart from before that, Arthur, of course, it was a good move on the flank. Andy Gray, very, very good in there, knocks it in. Then you could see one of the Scottish players hit the goalkeeper there. But as I said before, you know, get the ball into that box in the air for Andy Gray, and you know the Icelandic players will not know how to cope with it at all. Another factor, of course, which we didn't see a great deal of on Saturday, was using the flanks. When we eventually did it, of course, Bett crossed and, you know, Gough got the goal. Now that's what happens with these sort of teams, that they sort of mass their defence. You know, they get plenty of bodies behind the ball 8 at times. You know, it's very difficult.
And here we are breaking. This is danger. Ball going in, but good covering there, excellent covering there by Willie Miller. He spotted that, and as Goughlaugsson moved through, he came with him, and that was a very timely challenge indeed, because it looked as if there was a bit of space. Looks like a long throw expert here. Edvaldsson floating it. Strachan away, it's just out, I think. So Edvaldsson with the throw. Putting it in deep. Nice knock on there, but Leighton quite happy to settle for a goal kick. So a little more than 12 minutes gone in Reykjavík. Iceland 0, Scotland 0 in this vital Group 7 World Cup qualifying match. Scotland's second last game in the group. They have to go to play in Wales in September, and they just have to win this match tonight. Now Aitken up, and a nice flick forward again there. Jónsson turning it in. That's a corner. It's Iceland's corner. While Sveinsson looks if he can play a bit under the shot outside his shots. FIFA flag flying in the far end of the ground. Fair number of Scots supporters in. That's a good looking kick. and Bett getting that one away, nobody there. Returned by Sveinsson. Nice play by Scotland now. Gough again, always willing to come forward. Sharp drifting away. Out to Aitken. Gough on the overlaps available. Could be good here for Scotland. He's onside. Intelligent play by Gough. There's a cut back ball bobbing about. Gordon Strachan got in. Roy Aitken stays down, watches offside, comes back to Gough. Gough looks for a bit of support, finds Strachan. He leaves it to Bett. Bett now back to Gough. Back into Strachan, looking for a 1-2 here. Almost getting it. What a good chance that would have been, because he was almost past the last defender. Aitken going in. Guðlaugsson away. Good play by McLeish. No chance for Andy Gray that time. They're just a little bit untidy up there at the moment. Scotland still looking for an opportunity to create a clear-cut opportunity that will give them this all-important goal.
Certainly not proving easy for Scotland so far. Willie Miller.
And the voice we hear is that of Peter Brackley, who is in fact commentating on this match for the benefit of ITV viewers in England. We don't have Jock Brown at the moment, but Peter Brackley, with a monitor right in front of him and with all the availability of the facilities at the match, is clearly in a better position than Dennis and myself to see what's happening. So with this long throw to Iceland on the far side, let's join Peter Brackley as we move up to the 15-minute mark.
McLeish away. And safely through to Jim Leighton. Malpas. 15 minutes gone in the first half. Still Iceland 0, Scotland 0. And Scotland building again now with the diminutive figure of Gordon Strachan. We'll have the wisp figure, of course. Chance for Gray, good save. Hooked away. But a chance certainly there for Andy Gray. Set up initially by the run from Strachan. And when the ball came across, Andy Gray's shot was pushed out by the goalkeeper, who got down extremely well. So the first real opportunity of the game falling to Scotland. And certainly Iceland indebted there to their goalkeeper, Guðmundsson. Plays his club football in Sweden and has been in tremendous form, apparently. He certainly showed it there. Sharp. Edvaldsson couldn't get there before the defender. It was McLeish. Souness. Sharp now for Strachan. Could be an opening here. Strachan will weave his way past defenders, but the way was blocked. Souness. But Scotland now threatening to take control. Gough with Gray. Useful interchange. Malpas. Here's Sharp. Bett with the shot. Charged down though by Bergs. Miller. And Iceland at the moment with 9 defenders. Souness with the cross in. Bergs who headed away. Petursson. Now Siggi Jónsson. Again, Miller was far too quick for him there. And Scotland just sensing now that they are beginning to take a grip on this game. Here's Sharp. Thorbjornsson. The crowd had seen Jim Bett then, even if Thorbjornsson hadn't. Pórdarson with Gough. Souness finding Strachan. Malpas. Maybe his second international on Saturday against England. Rain now falling quite steadily here in Reykjavík at the National Stadium. The locals are hardened to the weather. Didn't reach Strachan. Souness. Strachan again. Three players waiting in support in the middle. The goalkeeper's claimed it well. Certainly made a confident start. Guðmundsson. Tony Knapp, the manager, was saying that his normal goalkeeper Sigurdsson hasn't been showing his best form in Norway, so it was worth giving this young lad his chance tonight. And he certainly hasn't let him down so far. Pórdarson, the captain. Thorbjornsson. While the names aren't too easy to remember in the Iceland side, they do at least nearly all end in son, which does help. Aitken. Gough has gone outside him. Gray is well forward too. Here's Gough. Gray's in the middle, and the cross wasn't forthcoming. Gough in the side in place of Steve Nicol, who's of course with the Liverpool party. Now Gough, Souness to Strachan. Souness looking to direct operations in the style that he did against England. He had, by his standards, a disappointing match against Wales, but very much back to his best on Saturday. The umbrellas are up all around me now. The rain really falling very heavily. We're actually watching the match from a bus parked on the terrace. We're just hoping the driver doesn't clear off before the end of the game. Certainly the most unusual commentary point I've ever commentated from. Bett. Good cross in to chance. Well saved. Sharp with a shot. The goalkeeper again was right behind it. Graham Sharp will look upon that as a chance. Again denied by the goalkeeper with a smart piece of goalkeeping. Strachan with the corner. Gray was lurking on the near post, didn't reach him. Bergs only half away, as far here as Souness. Now Gough. Gray again going in, challenging so strongly. Jockstein felt it was worth a risk in changing a winning side by bringing in Gray and Sharp tonight. They've been playing so well, of course, together at Everton. And he felt they might just unsettle this Iceland defence. He may well be right. So far, they've got nothing past this man. Pórdarson. Práinsson with the throw. Now Sharp. He's had such an excellent season for Everton, Graham Sharp. Here's Strachan. A good layoff end by Aitken, finding Souness. He's got some room to work in here. The shot was driven low and well saved again by the goalkeeper. And so far, it's the goalkeeper Guðmundsson who's kept Scotland out. The drive then from Graham Souness. And the goalkeeper sprawling to his left to keep the ball out. Aitken's chip. Gough with some space here. Sharp and Gray are both in the middle. And Bett here. Saevar Jónsson with the clearance. But Scotland spraying the ball around with some confidence now. That was a late tackle by Bett. Didn't go down at all well with the Reykjavík crowd, and they take their football seriously here. When they beat Wales, actually the whole crowd came on the pitch and did a lap of honour. In fact, when they were waving, there was hardly anybody left on the terrace. Good Laugardalsvöllur, other of the experienced players in the side. Here's Bett. Now Malpas taking over. Gray then was surely offside. Andy Gray was telling me beforehand how much he was looking forward to playing tonight. He missed the last Everton match, well, not the last game, but their game against Coventry on Sunday because of injury. And there's an injury now. The tackle by Graham Souness on Siggi Jónsson. The young man will certainly need some treatment there. It's a battering challenge by the Scotland captain. Although it's Siggi Jonsson's 5th cap, it's only his 2nd really in a major international. There clearly is some concern here. Tony Knapp, the manager, has come on. There are jeers all around the ground. Virtually all the players surrounded Siggi Jónsson. And those fans weren't at all happy with the challenge from Graham Souness. The referee, I think, is just telling Souness to keep away. Pórdarson very angry with the tackle. At this stage, it does look a fairly serious injury for Siggi Jónsson. Tony Knapp is now going off the field. Englishman, of course, Tony Knapp. He played for Southampton and Leicester, among other clubs. There he is. He's telling us today about the character of the Iceland players. They may not have the skill to match some of the European teams, but he's been very impressed by the character that they show. But there, the sad side of Siggi Jónsson being stretchered off the field. I wonder if he'll be taking any further part in this game. Distressing sight indeed. Siggi Jónsson, such a promising young player. Expected away to the dressing room. Caution for Graham Souness for the tackle. But it's the damage to the Iceland side that will concern their manager, Tony Knapp. He sent on a substitute. tell you in a moment just who he is. The free kick is taken. We're some way away from the action here. It's certainly not easy to spot the numbers from this kind of distance. Jónsson clearly to take no further part. Gough with the throw. He's sharp. Gough again. A robust challenge by Petursson. Christiansen is the substitute who's come on. Marcel Christiansen. Strachan. I wonder just what effect the loss of Siggi Jónsson will have on Iceland. It will disrupt their rhythm. It's Aitken. Aitken. Strachan, little flick through. And it's a corner. In fact, there has been a change of substitute. The list we were given to Christiansen, but in fact it's Torfason who's come on. Communications not all perhaps that they might be here in Iceland, as far as the media are concerned. So here's Torfason now, on for Siggi Jónsson. Souness, cheered by the Iceland fans. Malpas goes sharp. Guðlaugsson covered his run. He kept his feet well too there in a difficult situation. Guðlaugsson from Fortuna Cologne. The loss of Siggi Jónsson doesn't appear to have unsettled Iceland too much at this stage. In fact, if anything, it's given them a bit of a lift, a bit of fire in them now. Gough. Souness. This is Sveinsson for Iceland. Just the one victory in the group. The match here against Wales. They lost 3-0, of course, to Scotland at Hampden Park early on in the season. And they were also beaten by Wales in Cardiff. Pórdarson. Just see now how slippery the pitch has become. Pórdarson away. Scotland defending well. Strachan. Been out of the international side, at least in terms of starting a game, all season until Saturday. Sharp. The cross in looking for Gray at the far post. The goal kick to Iceland.
Well, we're hopeful now of rejoining Jock Brown, who's been waiting anxiously to come into the match. Let's cross over now and thank Peter Brackley for his contribution to our programme and see if we can hear Jock Brown and Ian St John.
They're not getting it. They're not getting it.
certainly denied Scotland on many occasions. Malpas with the throw. Willie Miller just guided Aberdeen to their third championship in 6 seasons. What a stalwart he's been for Scotland too. Malpas in trouble. Sweinsson's throw. Edvaldsson. Petursson going in. And a penalty. A penalty's been given. As Petursson went in. Well, he's claiming a dive there. I must admit, it did seem a rather harsh decision. The referee in no doubt at all. Aitken, the offender. And the referee says that is a penalty for Iceland. What an opportunity for them now to take the lead. Pórdarson, the captain, will take the kick. Jim Leighton stands between Pórdarson and the lead for Iceland. He saved it! What a save! Magnificent save by Leighton. Pórdarson bumps the ground in disgust. Jim Leighton guessed correctly and quite brilliantly too. That was an astonishing save by the Scotland goalkeeper. It seemed to be going into the corner and somehow he got down and pushed it wide. Scotland breathed a sigh of relief. And what an opportunity has gone begging for Iceland. Pórdarson missing his kick. Oh, killed the post. That's so nearly squeezed in then. Well, hesitancy perhaps at the back. Having survived one near miss. Scotland very nearly went behind then. All happened so quickly, it came back off the post. Suddenly the game has come to life. And Scotland living very dangerously indeed. Having dominated the first half an hour in terms of chances created. And here's another one. He half-fisted away really then by the goalkeeper from Strachan's cross. And if they hadn't realised it before, Scotland know they have a match on here tonight. And Iceland will be kicking themselves that they're not in the lead. Petursson. Sveinsson controls the left flank. Utility player. Played at left back against Wales. Seems to be more in a midfield position tonight. Here's Gough. Pórdarson. Got out well then by Aitken. Here's Souness. Just brushed Pórdarson aside then. Malpas. Came off Andy Gray. Promising build-up here. This is Petursson. The shot didn't match the approach play. Petursson. Something of a Dennis Law look-alike. One or two observers have said. He certainly has sharpness to his game. But the shot there, way off target. cross in. There's plenty of support arriving. But a disappointing cross then from Sveinsson. Just for a moment, looked to have gone away down the left. Strachan. The Iceland team showing plenty of determination. Certainly if they've any chance at all of qualifying, they've got to win tonight, really. Not completely out of the frame, though. They've got matches to come against Spain, 2 games against Spain after the one tonight. Scotland, of course, they have just Wales to play. What a game that promises to be. Jónsson, Pórdarson, Sveinsson then to Edvaldsson, taking on Willie Miller. He's always the favourite. And in fact, the referee giving the free kick to Scotland. Edvaldsson going in rather late, shoving Willie Miller aside. Free kick to Scotland. Iceland matching the Scots for aggression. Sveinsson. Plenty of time for McLeish. His appearance was rather careless. Gough finding Strachan. 5 minutes to half-time. Now can Scotland pierce this Iceland defence? No, Saevar Jónsson is back there. Sveinsson battling well against Gough. Jónsson. Still a very bright evening here. Indeed, it's daylight all round the clock here. There's no darkness at this time of year in Iceland. Malpas away. Bett. Crowded out of it again, though. Práinsson. Another strong challenge by Willie Miller. Souness. Very sharp in the Iceland half. Well to hold it up then, but beaten eventually by Bergs. Bergs, who scored the only goal here against Wales. Scotland quickly pulling players back. They haven't got it away yet. Edvaldsson. Pass in was aimed towards Sveinsson. Petursson! I think it may well have taken a deflection, no offside. For nobody given a corner there. Another glorious chance though for Petursson, he knows it too. Offside. Wouldn't have counted anyway. Given away though by Souness. Pórdarson. Iceland have certainly grown in stature over the last 15 minutes or so. A couple of minutes now to half-time. Scotland free kick. Foul on Graham Sharp. Sharp with one of the best opportunities early on for Scotland. Here's Souness. Not the most popular man in Reykjavík. After his tackle on Siggi Jónsson, which curtailed that player's involvement in the game. Malpas. Up towards Andy Gray. Climbed up well. Just for a moment, danger threatened there, with Graham Sharp warning up front. All stemming from the aerial power of Andy Gray. Strachan. Came off Graham Souness. Now into time added on for stoppages in the first half. The Russian referee has a glance at his watch. Petursson. McLeish just nicked it away from him first. Jim Leighton very much the Scotland hero. Bergs. Hefty clearance. McLeish. The half-time whistle, and Scotland, for all their early chances, fortunate really to be level at half-time. A splendid penalty save by Jim Leighton, denying Pórdarson. And Iceland proving, as we expected, a very difficult hurdle indeed. No goals at half-time. We'll be back for the second half right after the break.
Welcome back to Scott Sport World Cup Special, and there's a flavour of Scotland, specially imported into Reykjavík tonight to give our Icelandic friends a taste of Scotland. Well, we've had a taste of the misfortunes that can befall the satellites and things tonight, and we do apologise to those of you at home who had expected to hear Jock Brown at 8 o'clock. I can let you into a secret. Dennis Law and I expected to hear him as well. But however, it gave us an opportunity for a first-hand glimpse of the first 15 minutes. And since then, of course, Peter Brackley, who's covering the game for our colleagues in England, has been doing the commentary. But fingers crossed, we hope to join Jock Brown just after the half-time for the whole of the second half. Dennis, let's take a quick look at some of those incidents in the first half, because Scotland got off to a good start, it seemed to me, settled first and had one or two good chances early on to take the lead.
Yes, in fact, I think Andy Gray's eventual shot proved which I thought was the best chance of the game. Now, it's very difficult to see who went up the flank there. I don't think it came from that one off there. You know, it was a ball that was knocked out to the left, pulled back for Andy Gray, and the shot was saved.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it certainly looked early on as if Gray and Sharp looked fairly threatening, didn't they, in the early stages of the match? It looked as if they were creating one or two problems.
Well, I thought Jock by selected him, you know, did the right thing, and as we said earlier before the game, experience, and it needed experience. It needs experience away from home, and I think the boy Sharp did well in the link-up. And certainly, as you say, in the first sort of 25, 30 minutes, Scotland had 2 or 3 chances which they could have taken, and you know, they should have scored one in particular.
And then, in fact, the moment where the World Cup very nearly slipped away from us, when Roy Aitken's challenge was adjudged by the referee to have been unfair, and they got a penalty.
Right.
The referee was right up with the play, I must admit, on this one, and had a very good view of the challenge, didn't he?
I don't think there was any doubt at all that it was nothing other than a penalty. And Aitken, Petursson had got away from Aitken there, and he definitely pulled him, shoved him onto the goalkeeper. No danger. It was definitely a penalty. And at that time, you thought, well, you know, Iceland have got to come into it and they could score. But they've always got problems in that. And I think it was Jim Leighton, really, who probably was the hero of the first 45 minutes. You know, away from home, a penalty given, the captain taking it. Now, he knocked it well. Maybe Jim moved a little bit, but isn't that a magnificent save? One that Scotland, or the rest of the Scotland players, will be very glad about it. You know, because obviously they don't want to give that, because then Iceland really have got their tails up, you know.
And right after that, another opportunity, a shock here almost for Scotland from the corner kick.
It was, and someone hammed on Saturday, you know. There must have been a lack of shout. In football, you know, shouting is a very, very important part of the game. And of course, you left it, it could have gone anywhere, couldn't it? I mean, a deflection could have gone in. And it was around that period that Iceland started, but they had the best period of the whole game. Petursson, in particular up front, he was causing the Scotland defence many, many problems. He's a good player, he's very skillful indeed, and he is the one player that Scotland will certainly have to watch in the second half. Iceland, of course, were playing confident football, they were knocking it about, disappointed obviously at missing the penalty. And of course, when it comes to Petursson, it's only a quick shot, you know. He's got to hit it first time, but I would think that had it gone in, there was a Icelandic player offsides, so it wouldn't have counted. But you can see the quality of the player in there, you know. You shouldn't be allowed to get a ball free in the penalty area.
He was in the right place at the right time.
He was in the right place at the right time. He is a dangerous player, looks very skillful indeed. But as we said before, you know, they find it difficult to score. But if they get enough chances, eventually they will score, you know.
They might at that. Right, Dennis, thank you very much for those comments. Time for us to take a break, and when you rejoin us, we'll be going straight back to Reykjavík for the whole of the second live of tonight's World Cup qualifying match. Welcome back to the Scott Sport World Cup special. The second half of tonight's match between Iceland and Scotland just started a few seconds ago, and I think now we can go over and welcome Jock Brown and Ian St John. Jock, where have you been all this time?
Thank you, Arthur. Welcome to Reykjavík, and Ian St John and I are of course delighted to be with you after the problems of the first half. The second half has gone just about 1 minute so far, and it started at a slightly slower tempo than most of the first half when there was lots of action, some bad-tempered play, and of course that marvellous penalty save from Jim Leighton. But very much a cup tie here at Reykjavík. Very chilly and damp overhead, and conditions treacherous in the field. The ball skidding around a lot. But Scotland had some good patches in that first half, and Souness taking the free kick, being booed for the involvement in the incident when Siggi Jónsson was carried off. So it's Richard Gough, here's Andy Gray. And the Icelandic defence closing in very rapidly indeed. Gray worked very hard in that first half and looked impressive from time to time, but Graham Sharp had very few chances to shine. Here's Souness again, now Sharp. Brought down by Bergs, and the free kick's been given to Scotland. And that's a signal for McLeish to come from the back, but the free kick's been taken very quickly indeed. And the referee from the USSR calls the play back, which perhaps will work in Scotland's favour. They didn't take full advantage of the free kick situation. So now Roy Aitken and McLeish have gone forward, so too has Richard Gough, and all these boos greet every touch from Souness. Here's Strachan. Strachan driving into the box is good play. Kenny gets the ball across. And it's done behind by Jónsson for the corner kick.
Well, one thing about Strachan tonight, Jock, I do feel that he's going to be the danger man for Scotland. He had a very bright first half, and he started the second half in the same vein. And the conditions suit him, actually. You know, the little fella, skinny surface, and the jinking around here, doing very well.
So now back with Souness. Challenge to the far side from Sharp. Here's Richard Gough. That's too far ahead of Andy Gray, but there was a deflection. That's another corner kick to Scotland. So Scotland starting the second half in positive fashion. Souness still getting these woos around the stadium. Near post ball headed away by Jónsson. What a big men in the box for Scotland. William Miller at the back. And it's gone for the goal kick to Iceland. William Miller couldn't keep it in. Who is joining the attack at every opportunity. The news, incidentally, of Siggy Jónsson is that he's been taken to hospital, but it's hoped that his leg is not broken.
Well, the tackle actually from Graham Souness, Jock. We were watching the ball, and as Graham slid in, and I think the conditions more than anything else caused it, the slippy surface.
Disturbance from Jónsson. Gough going in with Pórdarson, the Icelandic captain, who had the misfortune to miss that penalty kick. And what was a marvellous save from Jim Leighton. Here's McLeish for Scotland. Gough has room on the right. Here's Sharp. Dumped away by Thorbjornsson. Back by Gough. Gordon Strachan getting back for Scotland. This is William Miller. Now Malpas. Looking for Sharp through the middle. He tried to chest the ball towards Andy Gray. Miller's header is Jim Bett. Malpas picking out Gray ahead. First touch wasn't good enough for Andy Gray. So 5 minutes now into the second half. Still Iceland 0, Scotland 0. And that's by virtue of that splendid penalty save from Jim Leighton in the first half. Here's Souness. Careless one, he was looking for Malpas. Malpas did well to retrieve the situation, and Petursson with that clumsy tackle on Roy Aitken has incurred the wrath of the referee. And in fact, the yellow card rewarded. Petursson certainly has appeared to have lost the place in the Souness incident with Jónsson. He appears to be out on a vengeance mission all of his own. So Souness was booked for the tackle on Jónsson. Now Petursson joins him in the Russian referee's book. A Sharp. Souness again, looking for Andy Gray. William Miller underneath that, it struck his hand. Well, that did appear to be involuntary, but the referee has given the free kick to Iceland. And that lets them take the pressure off at the back. The young goalkeeper, Guðmundsson, has looked very assured indeed. This is his first international. Played against the Scotland under-21s at Fir Park, Motherwell, earlier in the season. And
Tony Knapp was saying this morning to his job that he selected his goalkeeper because he's very much in form with his club, so that's the reason he got the nod this evening.
Playing in Sweden for Halmstad. Thorbjornsson playing it in, there's Malpas. Thorbjornsson again. Here's a substitute, Torfason. That's good handling again from Leighton. He looks very confident indeed tonight. Sveinsson. Jónsson again. Just touched him down that time. So Scotland throw on the near side. 8 minutes into the second half. Honest Malpas earning his third cap. The early stages, Ian, Gordon Strachan looks very dangerous.
Yes, he has, and I think Andy Gray has played well. You know, he's got his head to the ball a lot, as he normally does, but he's also showed some nice touches as well. Another nice touch by him.
There's Jim Bett making for the byline for Scotland. Well,
actually, we've got into that sort of position 2 or 3 times in the game on both sides of the field, and really the final ball has been abysmal. And you can't really afford to do that. Once you get there, as in Saturday, of course, and Jim Bett got there and played a lovely ball across, we've got to make sure that the balls stay in the park, get the balls across if we're going to make the best use of Gray and Sharp.
wet surface though, making it
Well, the
difficult.
surface, yes, of course it is, but I mean, you've got to just concentrate, make sure you get your foot around the ball and keep it in play.
Iceland's goal kick. Malpas wins it well for Scotland in the air. Torfason. Sveinsson playing it up the line, and McLeish is there across in front of Pórdarson, who started the match strapped up and is limping once again. Scotland centre half is very commanding. The careless throw by Iceland, giving Scotland possession once again, the chance to use Jim Leighton. So the build-up starts from the back through modest Malpas. Gray left it, Jónsson came in behind him. Here's Strachan. Still Strachan going forward. Breaks for Souness. Bett trying to find Malpas inside. Here's Souness again. Gray at the far post. He did well to knock it down for Richard Gough, but he couldn't keep the shot under control, and that's an Icelandic goal kick.
Again, a good ball job from Guðmundsson, looking for the far post. Andy Gray's there, nice little knockdown, and you know, really we're careless with those type of balls, and really we should have done better there again.
Richard Gough snatching at the final shot. McLeish taking no chances at all at the back. Petursson, menacing figure, wearing number 5, but playing up front for Iceland. A good lead by Sharp. Cover is there for Iceland. Guðlaugsson wearing number 7, playing in the left back position for most of the first half. The match really doesn't appear to have picked up the pace of the first half.
No, it seems to be a lot calmer in the second half, because it was a bit hectic at some stages in the first half, wasn't it?
That's good play. Bett and Sharp making the break for Bett on the left. Here's a chance for Scotland. Cut off by Guðlaugsson. And he kept very calm indeed. Guðlaugsson doing a good job at the back for Iceland. His 32nd cap. Here's Edvaldsson. Thorbjornsson. Well, there was a break on the left with Sveinsson breaking in the left side of midfield, but the pass wasn't accurate enough, and here's Strachan for Scotland. Sharp. Retaining possession for Scotland, but forced to go back to Willie Miller. McLeish looking for a Malpas on the left. Bett being challenged by Thorbjornsson. So Scotland thrown on the near side. Souness giving instructions to Bett. And the Iceland team will bring on a second substitute, and I think the captain will go off. Yes, Souness waiting as the referee allows the substitution to be made. Off goes the captain, Pórdarson, struggling with an injury. There you picture, and Iceland bringing on their second substitute. Looks like Grétarsson, who's a striker. So the captain's van goes on the substitute also. So Iceland restored to 11 players. It is Grétarsson coming on. Gough challenging for the throw. Here's Souness again. Difficult one for the goalkeeper. Bett turns it back. Off the crossbar. And what a let-off that was for Iceland. The goalkeeping certainly not up to standard as Souness floating the ball in. Goalkeeper Guðmundsson went to punch the ball away, didn't get a good enough contact. And Bett rifled that shot against the underside of the bar and away to safety.
Well, it's a bit of a let-off there for Iceland, wasn't it? This morning at training, we were watching the goalkeeper getting a lot of practice here. Balls just like that, you know, played in towards the far post, and he was coming and getting them. But it's very slippy the ball at the moment, Jock, and you know, the little clap down set the chance up for Jim Bett.
Back with McLeish for Scotland. Andy Gray the target for the high ball, using his strength to screen the ball from the marker. Here's Gough. Tackle is penalised. That was Sveinsson who came in hard on Strachan from the back. So a free kick is given to Scotland. Once again, the big men go forward. A formidable strike force in the air Scotland have tonight. Is Andy Gray going to be a touch? That'll probably go for the throw. Back off the corner flag for McLeish. And the linesman on the far side signalled the ball was out, so it's a goal kick to Iceland.
But certainly Scotland have had the best of the opening 13 minutes of the second half, Jock. Created a couple of chances, looking more and more dangerous as the game goes on, and I would expect them to be, because you know they are better players, and they're playing a more controlled football and getting in some good balls. And really, it's just a case now of getting one. I think if we get one, the second one will follow quickly.
So the rain still falling heavily here in Reykjavík. Very chilly indeed. Scotland still looking for the breakthrough. 0-0. 15 minutes into the second half. Sharp bringing it down for Souness. Is Aitken. Break of the ball falls for Edvaldsson. The brother of Johannes Edvaldsson, the former Celtic and Motherwell player. Edvaldsson goes forward again. Malpas firmly into the tackle. The versatile player at the Edvaldsson, but at the back and in midfield for his country. And the Icelandic players in no particular hurry to get the ball back in play. Sveinsson will take the throw. A pull back from the local club, Völlur. McLeish standing his ground. Here's Bett. The only one up for Scotland is Sharp. Misunderstanding, but Iceland still retain possession until Malpas slides in. Certainly no attempt from Iceland to pick up the tempo of the play. There's Thorbjornsson. Playing it wide for Sveinsson. A good move from Iceland. Great chance for the opening goal. Pushed away by McLeish. And Scotland undoubtedly living dangerously. As Edvaldsson header almost catches them out. Then set up on the left as Sveinsson made that very good run. Went outside the Scottish defence, lofted the ball across. Edvaldsson appeared to have an excellent chance, but McLeish was there to hook the ball to safety.
Well, that certainly was a bit of a let-off there, Jock, for us, wasn't it? Well done, Alex McLeish.
Here's Grétarsson. Substitute. Suddenly Iceland have burst to life in an attacking sense. Torfason going forward. And Miller playing it back calmly to Leighton. To take that little bit of strain off the Scottish defence. And that has certainly encouraged the home supporters. The crowd tonight expected to break a 15-year-old record. There were 19,500 people here when Völlur played Benfica in a European match in 1969. We haven't had official confirmation, but the crowd expected to exceed 20,000 tonight. This compact little stadium. Thorbjornsson. Header from Edvaldsson. There's Petursson. Edvaldsson is onside. Miller's there for Scotland. There's Sharp. Souness picks it up in midfield. Strachan signalling for the ball on the far side. Strachan takes it now from Sharp. Now Souness. Casual ball forward. Strachan wasn't ready for it. Here's Guðlaugsson on the break for Iceland. Petersson's up front on the right.
And really, that's when they show their class, isn't it? You know, they get a very good chance of a break there, and instead of making something of it, it's a careless ball out of play.
So Strachan picks it up deep inside his own half for Scotland. A very different match in the second half. All rather hectic and frenzied in the first half, but bit more control in the second half, and that's a bad tackle on Aitken. The referee allows the advantage. Bett has possession. Linking with Sharp. There again, trying to go outside Pransson. Header out from Bergs. There's Souness. Well, he kept the shot down well, but the accuracy wasn't there. Well, James Souness trying very hard to continue to support the Scottish attack.
It's not a bad effort actually by Graham Souness here, but what was noticeable was that William Miller made a tremendous run from midfield to try and go up in support of Jim Bett on the right hand side there. So, I mean, Scotland are determined to try and win this game, Josh. There's no half measures now with this one.
The chance goes up around the stadium. Iceland sounds very similar to England, and I wonder if that may help the Scottish players. McLeish doing well on the ground, picked up by Souness. Strachan has found space. Rolling in the ball too long with Sveinsson who came back. Thorbjornsson. Pransson. Taking on Bett. Fullback is very strong on the ball. That's for Petursson. Gough was there for Scotland. Guðlaugsson. Looking for Edvaldsson on the far side. Thorbjornsson. A good move. Gough is set up and Leighton again. Behind the wall. Take that shot from Guðlaugsson. Moment of anxiety for the Scottish defence. It was well created and set up. Edvaldsson with a header. There was Thorbjornsson laying it into the path of Guðlaugsson coming forward. And Leighton did well to touch the ball over to the corner kick. So the corner for Iceland on the right, put in by Sveinsson. The post ball cleared by Gough. Andy Gray's on his own for the moment. That little bit of play allowed the Scottish players to get forward. There's Malpas. Sharp has come deep, calling for the ball inside. Now Souness. Well tackled. Guðlaugsson was the man again. With Torfason. Bett getting back. He knows that Souness is out of position. Caught upfield. Grétarsson back to Práinsson. There's Souness. Well, the Icelandic players have shaken themselves up in the last 5 minutes or so, Ian.
Well, they certainly have, but I think our problem in the last 5 minutes we're trying to attack through the middle, John, and we're having a lot of joy on the flanks, and we've got to get out the flanks and play there.
Malpas stopped by Pransson. Scotland get the throw. Pransson has gone down out of your picture, looking for the game to be stopped. Back on his feet now as referee allows or insists on play going on. Here's Grétarsson. Away from Strachan, Petursson going through the middle. Edvaldsson arriving late on the right. He wants to pick up a great chance for Iceland. And it's Leighton to Scotland's rescue once again. Marvellous save by Leighton. Question mark about the Scottish defence, and Leighton comes out once again. What a match he's had for Scotland. Well, that's a chance which Iceland may well regret missing. Edvaldsson was who found the room on the right. The Scottish defence all moving into the middle. Edvaldsson took the pass, advanced on Leighton, but Leighton's angles were right. And that was a brave diving save to keep Scotland on level terms.
He's definitely the hero of the night so far, isn't he? The goalkeeper playing very, very well. Made some great saves. But we've got to start knocking the ball out and get it wide.
Well, Souness is passing in the second half, certainly hasn't been up to the normal standards. Here's Edvaldsson again. Fine effort from Torfason. But Leighton certainly very alert. And he's in a fine match for Scotland. Malpas to Bett. Aitken is free in the middle. Strachan wants it on the flank. Well, another occasion for Jim Leighton to show his value for Scotland. That shot taken well by Torfason. Leighton again, looking very confident indeed. So now midway through the second half, and a good start to the second period by Scotland has been nullified by Iceland in the last 10 minutes, and they've come to the fore.
I think we've got to ask a question where we are getting to defensively in midfield, because it would appear that the Icelanders are getting all the room. They're 130 yards from our goal, Jock, and I mean, that's 2 or 3 times they've been able to have a positive goal from there. I mean, Roy Aitken, we haven't seen this half, have we? Apart from the ball he got there and played, we haven't seen him. I mean, he, I think, is the player that we're expecting to be in there tackling and winning the ball, and, you know, we've gone 20 minutes and we haven't seen him doing anything.
No, I expect it to be the defensive anchor man in midfield for Scotland, and here's Iceland breaking again on the left. Gough getting running. And the free kick's been given. Petursson trying to take the free kick very quickly, but the referee, Anatoly Milchenko from Russia, insists on play being stopped again. But once more, the Icelandic players making progress on the flank to good effect. And certainly these are moments of anxiety for Scotland. There is some activity in the Scottish bench. Steve Archibald is out of the dugout warming up. A dangerous situation for Scotland, with Práinsson very dangerous in these set pieces with his excellent left foot. Thorbjornsson is also there. The referee moving a Scottish wall back. That's Práinsson who takes it. Well won by Miller. Grétarsson getting the ball first to Iceland. There's Guðlaugsson at the back. 20 minutes of the match left, still no scoring. Iceland on the attack. Edvaldson's header. Strachan wins it from Petursson. Sharp. Forced to go back once again. Miller using Jim Leighton. The long high ball pumped through the middle. Beyond Gray, Sharp is challenging. Back now to Gough. Aitken. Malpas calling for the ball on the left. He has Bett on the outside. Going inside Sveinsson. Tackle from the back by the full-back, and that's a free kick to Scotland. So every Scotsman now going forward. Souness calling the shots from the set piece for Scotland. Strachan is there, Bett is also there. Sun has come out here in Reykjavík as the rain goes off. And really you can have all the seasons in one day in Iceland. So 4-man wall lined up for Iceland. Strachan over the ball, Grétarsson lining up the wall, now going back to join it to make the 5th man. Strachan to Souness, and Grétarsson charges it down. There's Souness again. Wide to Miller. Bett is there. Chance for Scotland, Sharp couldn't turn it in. And it's scrambled away by Iceland, and Graham Sharp, this is perhaps the best chance of the match for Scotland. It was Willie Miller who popped up in the right to send over that long deep cross. Bett did well with the header back across goal. There was the chance for Graham Sharp. He couldn't take it, he couldn't get the shot on target, and the Icelandic goal survived.
Well, that was an almighty scramble, that one. I mean, Graham Sharp, I think, just lost his footing there and had his back to the goal when he fell on his backside.
Well, that certainly would have been a dream debut for Sharp had he knocked that one in. So still no scoring here in Reykjavík. It's Petursson. Good build-up again from Iceland. Here's Sveinsson on his left foot.
And there's another shot, Jock, from that same area, you know, from around 25 yards. And really, you know, we've got to do something about that. I mean, the shooting has been straight at the goalkeeper. If it's to either side of him, you know, we're right in trouble.
McLeish for Scotland. Interception by Sveinsson. Petursson and the Gough clash. Free kick's been given, I think, for Iceland. No, the substitution is holding play up. The change is being made. Andy Gray is going off and Steve Archibald is coming on for Scotland. So Archibald comes on to win his 26th cap. To link up with Graham Sharp in attack.
I think there may have been some doubt about Andy Gray's fitness, before the game, because he didn't play the weekend for Everton. And it could well be that he's had a little niggle, was feeling it, and that's the reason he's come off.
Certainly did well in the first half, but the game's got away from him in the second, so now Steve Archibald has a chance to add to his 4 Scotland goals. Gough playing it forward. Header wide by Jónsson. Bett has crossed over to the right. There were some instructions brought onto the field by Archibald from the Scottish dugout. Here's Gough, getting into position in the box. Archibald challenging hard, and his efforts have won the corner kick for Scotland. Goalkeeper's on the ground. Guðmundsson, he took a knock there as Archibald closed in. The referee not interested in any hold-up though.
He's gone back down again.
Trainer wants to come on, and the goalkeeper is in fact off the field of play.
I think he's taken a knock on his leg there, John, because he tried to stand up and then sat back down again.
Well, the customary respect given to goalkeepers. And
well, I think it's right enough. I mean, of all the players on the field, I think you've got to respect that if he is injured, especially when they're just about to take a corner kick, it's worth letting the trainer come on and have a look at.
So 15 minutes left in the match, and Scotland still pressing for the breakthrough.
Scotland certainly have fallen right out of the game, Jock, haven't they, in the last 10 minutes or so, after a very bright start to the second half where they created chances and hit the bar and looked as if they might score at any minute. But they've got to get back to playing football again and start using the width of the pitch. People complain about it being narrow, and it's 74 yards wide, and it's wide enough to knock the ball around if you go out on the touchline.
So applause for Guðmundsson as he takes his place on the Icelandic goal line. And here's Strachan with the corner kick for Scotland. Aitken looking for the touch. Appeared to come off sharp, and that's the goal kick to Iceland. Souness has had problems in the second half with this passing, Ian.
Yeah, well, I mean, Graham's been trying to put it through the eye of a needle, where in the first half he was knocking it wide and people were going wide. And really, the Icelandic team are strongest through the middle because they're playing a sweeper, they've got 2 markers, and that's where they're really tight through there.
Petursson playing it forward, Grétarsson chasing with Willie Miller. And the Aberdeen understanding pays off as Leighton comes off his line. Well, Grétarsson certainly made life very difficult for the Aberdeen pair, Willie Miller and Jim Leighton. Bad control from Thorbjornsson, allowing Sharp to find Bett on the right. That's good play from Bett. Behind Sharp. And Sveinsson happy to thump the ball clear. Coming off the head of Richard Gough. The loose ball is picked up by McLeish. Archibald chasing across with Jónsson. Here's Sharp. Archibald. Very keen to be involved. Richard Gough. Well, he got the weather on Saturday against England, but wasn't very close on that occasion with the long-range shot. Indications are, Ian, that Iceland will be quite happy to accept the draw.
Well, I think if Iceland get a draw here, I mean, it is a terrific result for them, but it won't do our chances much good, will it? As Jockstein was saying before the game, he wants to go to play Wales with 2 points under his belt, so that at least a point down in Wales would get us there.
McLeish challenging for the goal kick. Malpas. Sharp giving chase. He's never stopped running all night, Graham Sharp. But he's been penalised on that occasion. He certainly couldn't be faulted, the Everton striker, for effort without having too many opportunities, apart from that one golden chance midway through the second half from Jim Bett's header. So Guðmundsson taking his time over the clearance for Iceland. But it's ticking away here for Scotland. 12 minutes left. Still no scoring. Souness appeared to be eased off the ball by Edvaldsson. Free kick's been given. Taken shot by Souness to Villa. McLeish. Petursson. Thorbjornsson. Sveinsson under pressure from Sharp. No one forward for Scotland. They really have fallen out of the game in midfield. Thorbjornsson playing it in. Gough headed away, but once again it falls to a player in blue. That, of course, is not Scotland tonight. This one from Sveinsson, giving Aitken the chance to break on the right. Sharp and Archibald through the middle. Bett is joining them. Here's Strachan. Good play from Strachan. Sharp trying to keep the ball in play. He managed to do so, but there was no one there for Scotland. A little bit of magic there from Gordon Strachan. We haven't seen too many examples of that in the second half. Cross in the end, not accurate enough, and it's Iceland on the attack with Thorbjornsson. Now Grétarsson. Interception by Aitken. Here's Bett. There's a chance for Strachan. He's beaten by Sveinsson. Edvaldsson with the return ball. Petersson's available on the left. Malpas to the far post. Well, that could have been dangerous for Scotland with just 10 minutes left. Grétarsson couldn't get the header on target, and here's Malpas for Scotland. Sharp coming wide once again, looking for support inside. In midfield is Strachan. Still, Scotland find it very difficult to make killing forward passes. But here's Strachan. Scoring in the ball too long. Torfason's challenge is picked up by Petursson. Aitken fighting hard for Scotland to get it back, but it's McLeish who has to tidy up. And now Strachan. Souness is free in the centre circle. Malpas making progress on the left. An aimless ball inside from Malpas. There was no one there for that one, and the header from Grétarsson falls for Souness. Well, things certainly not going right for the Scottish captain in this second half.
No, it hasn't. And he had a very good first half too, didn't he? He was playing very well and dictating the play for Scotland, but in the second half he seems to have gone right out of it. Now, whether the crowd getting on, I shouldn't think the crowd getting on to him would worry against Souness. He's had that most of his career.
Souness winning his 46th cap for Scotland tonight, over an 11-year period. Guðmundsson's goal kick, stopped by McLeish. Aitken fighting hard in midfield. Thorbjornsson finds space on the right. Grétarsson playing it off Jim Bett.
Petersson's gone down injured there, Jock, and the fact that they've used the two substitutes, a bit of a blow this if it's a bad one.
Time running out, 8 minutes left. Petursson on the deck, and that's what the hold-up's all about. The Russian referee pointing to his watch. No sign of activity, any more activity that is, on the Scottish bench. They still have in reserve David Spudie up front, and they have Paul McStay and Murdo McLeod alongside Alan Ruff as replacement players. Now some instructions coming from the Scottish dugout. Icelandic supporters enjoying the occasion to the full. Petursson is back at his feet, although he looks still a bit unsteady. The referee asking for the quick departure of the Icelandic trainer. Certainly gives a lie to the words of the Iceland camp to the effect that they were anxious to win the match and retain their hopes of qualifying in the World Cup. Played in the second half as though they'd be delighted to have a draw. And yet, but for Tim Leighton's goalkeeping, they might have done even better. Here's Strachan. Chased back by Sharp. A Malpas. No one ahead of him. Bergs is on his own. Torfason. Thorbjornsson. Malpas forced to thump the ball forward again. It's won by Sveinsson. Breaking down for Grétarsson. That's a fine tackle by McLeish. Thoroughly determined. He took a knock in the process. The Scottish centre half. The area of the throat. Mostly accidental, but I think McLeish certainly in trouble. Once again, Scottish defence looking a bit slack until McLeish appeared.
Well, we put ourselves in trouble. I mean, Morris Malpas keeps giving the ball away, Jock, and he does well. I mean, he wins the ball all right. He's a good tackler, the lad. Wins the ball and then just gives it away. You know, if he could brush up on that and watch what he's doing with his passing, it's obviously going to be a help to the team, because twice he had it there and twice the ball came back to us, and Alex McLeish has been injured in the process of mopping up.
So the match will restart with this throw to Iceland on the other side. Sveinsson capable of a long ball inside. Queuing up with the near post. McLeish has recovered to win that one. The Scottish defence pushing out to leave the way clear for Jim Leighton to send the ball downfield with just 5 minutes of the match left. Still no scoring. Scotland certainly not enjoying one of their best periods in the match at this stage. Bergs up. Ball for Strachan. Here's Roy Aitken. Good tackle by Guðlaugsson. Gough wins it from Petursson. Here's William Miller. Now McLeish. Malpas having to shield his eyes from the sun as the ball came from that direction. Scotland now back on the defensive. Thorbjornsson coming forward. Stopped by Bett and Malpas. Here's Souness. Now Archibald. Svensson's header back to Guðlaugsson. So Guðmundsson, the Icelandic goalkeeper, taking his time once again, winning the eye shield. The sun slanting in over the stand on the far side. Now Strachan, getting away from Sveinsson. That's towards Steve Archibald. Breaks for Bett, a chance for Scotland. And Bett has made it! Scotland have scored with just 3.5 minutes left to play, and Jim Bett gets his first goal for Scotland. Jubilation in the Scottish camp.
It's a good ball from little Strachan there across, Jock. Played it right across the defenders. There was Jim Bett, controlled it well, and smacked it with his left foot, past the goalkeeper's right hand side. I'll tell you what, it's a very relieved Scottish team there getting a goal at this stage of the game.
Well, Jim Bett back in familiar territory here in Iceland, where he played for some time earlier in his career. Gets the vital goal, which may well give Scotland 2 World Cup points. Iceland now heading back in the break. They've won the corner kick. But Bett, in his 13th international, gets his first goal, and seldom is a goal is more crucial. Scotland certainly not having a good last half hour, but that little bust from Gordon Strachan on the right, setting up the chance for Jim Bett. Corner kick to the far post. McLeish does well again, going up. Here's Guðlaugsson. Iceland have pushed players forward into attack. And Strachan battling hard. It breaks for Guðlaugsson again. Here's Grétarsson controlling it, going forward. And that's just a couple of feet wide, and once again the Scottish defence was good. Petursson almost getting Iceland back in level terms. 2 minutes of the match left, and Iceland heading back with Guðlaugsson doing well over on the far side. After the corner kick, Guðlaugsson playing it across, the Scottish defence didn't clear it. Grétarsson controlled it with the chest, tried to go through, and his shot was hooked just about 2 feet wide.
And really, Jock, that was a super chance for them there. They should have levelled the scoring. Great chance. Squandered again.
Oh, what a dramatic finish to the match here in Reykjavík. Scotland looking out of things in the last half hour. And now hanging on to the most splendid of all victories. Just going towards the final minute of the match now. There's Steve Archibald. It's a good layoff, but Strachan can't reach it. Back to Guðmundsson, and suddenly there's urgency about the Icelandic players. They clearly would have been happy to get a draw, but now they have to find the net. But Peturson's been penalised. So a free kick to Scotland, and it's Scotland's turn now to take the heat out of things. Into the final minute of the match here in Iceland. Scotland leading by 1 goal to 0. So Gough playing into the path of Gordon Strachan, another chance for Scotland. Archibald's waiting in the box, so it's shot. And the final pass from Strachan once again goes astray, but he was the man setting things up on the right. Scotland at the most menacing when Strachan finds space over in that right flank.
Well, he started sparkling again the last 5 or 10 minutes, the little fella. Started the second half very well, and then had a very poor little patch in the middle of it. And then he's come back again, set up the goal, and gotten very, very well that time, nearly set up another one.
Gough's header. Jónsson playing it forward, and that's Souness returning it. Sharp and Archibald closing in, and Guðmundsson. We're now into time added on for stoppages in the second half. There's been a little bit of that though, so there may well be a couple of minutes to go. The referee in the first half though stopped play very quickly after the 45 minutes were up, despite a long delay for the injury to Siggi Jónsson. Iceland come forward again. There's Grétarsson finding space outside the Scottish box. And there goes the final whistle. Referee Milchenko from Russia adding very little time on at the end. The Icelandic players are disconsolate, and Scotland have snatched victory right at the death. 3.5 minutes from the end. Strachan strike on the right, and Jim Bett with his first international goal has given Scotland 2 World Cup points. But the hero, Ian, Jim Leighton.
Jim Leighton, definitely. I mean, we've got to thank Jim Bett for scoring a goal, but at the other end of the field, Jim Leighton, definitely the hero of the night. Some fantastic saves, including the penalty kick, of course, and kept us very much in the game.
The small contingent of Scottish fans over on the far side, about 400 or 500 here in Iceland, welcoming the Scottish players off the field. It certainly wasn't a vintage Scottish performance throughout, but there goes the goal scorer, number 10, Jim Bett, the man who has won the match tonight here in Reykjavík for Scotland, with that late goal from Gordon Strachan's cross. With the help of Jim Leighton in goal, Scotland have made it by the narrowest of margins. And with that,
but there's an interesting